Hello, my name is Alejandra Garcia, and this is my venture capitalist project presentation. The main problem that is trying to be solved using this technology is the difficulty associated with testing for hypoglycemic events in individuals with type 1 diabetes, or in other words, challenges in glucose monitoring. Type 1 diabetes is a disease that involves a condition of absolute insulin deficiency as a result of pancreatic beta cell destruction, which can lead to hyper and hypoglycemia. Type 1a results from cell-mediated autoimmune attack on beta cells. Type 1b is less frequent and involves varying degrees of insulin deficiency in between random episodes of ketoacidosis. Severe cases of hypoglycemia can lead to feeling weak, difficulty walking, seeing clearly, passing out, or even having seizures. People with diabetes can potentially experience low blood sugar as often as 1 to 2 times per week. Profound, prolonged hypoglycemia can also lead to brain death. Unfortunately, patients must depend on lifelong insulin injections. Other novel methods, however, exist for treatment, such as insulin pumps and glucose monitoring with hybrid closed-loop systems. With such a condition such as type 1 diabetes, monitoring of blood glucose is critical. Most glucose monitoring systems usually involve the need to provide a sample or droplet of blood to perform a reading. While this becomes a part of everyday life for these individuals, there's a need to better this process for the comfort of the affected individuals to make their lives better, without the worry of having to prick their fingers for these samples. So 2 to 3 key features of the technology. Overall, some key features of the technology worth noting include, for one, it is a non-invasive technology that prevents the need to give a blood sample for diagnosis. Normally, individuals would have to prick their fingers multiple times a day to do so, which leads to inconvenience and discomfort. The use of an e-nose is what would be implemented to analyze breath samples in the place of blood to test for hypoglycemic events. The idea is to be able to provide a similar service that a diabetes alert dog could provide, without the high cost of the dogs. The dogs are not always totally correct and need to be consistently trained and require a lot of care and attention in order to maintain a high level of accuracy. In other words, the everyday individual is not going to be able to maintain or afford to have a diabetes alert dog. As far as our technology goes, similar to the dogs, it works by detecting volatile organic compounds likely to cause hypoglycemia in the breath. Not only this, but it's portable and easy to use, which comes in handy for the general population, as blood glucose and life conditions are unpredictable, thus this type of technology could be best used everywhere and anywhere. An incidence of too high or low blood sugar could lead to serious problems, making this feature highly attractive. So what makes our biosensor technology different or unique? Enzymatic and pyrometric glucose biosensors are very commonly commercially available devices. Most devices do not meet the precision and accuracy able to be achieved in the labs, and thus require blood samples. The technology being presented here only requires a breath sample. Our research team was able to identify a specific array of volatile organic compounds through a study that involved a combination of linear discriminant analysis and supervised machine learning for hypoglycemia identification. The study was completed using 128 breath samples from 52 youths with type 1 diabetes at 2 separate diabetes camps. For the model developed in this study, a 91% sensitivity with a confidence interval of 95% was achieved, as well as 84% specificity with a 95% confidence interval. Having completed this initial study and then having completed further research involving a larger sample size, the final resulting development is a low-cost biosensor that is a mobile electronic nose that provides hypoglycemic event detection with just a breath sample. The e-nose is made using a quartz crystal microbalance array sensor array functionalized with multiple polymer-based active thin films, which include acrylonitrile, polyvinylidene fluoride, polyvinyl pyrrolidone, and polyvinyl acetate. The implementation of polymers provides a sense of flexibility as chemical and physical properties can be adjusted using their selection. Polymers also have modifiable surface hydrophobicity and sensitivity through the addition of other organic materials or dopants. Furthermore, our device works under the gravimetric detection principle, where additional mass of adsorbed molecules on polymer surface can induce quartz crystal microbalance resonance frequency shifts. This principle serves as an alternative to conductometric sensing, such as chemoresistive sensors and field effect transistors. Quartz crystal microbalance platforms offer a robust architecture, easy handling, large sensing area, and low power consumption, among other things. It's also allowed us to be able to tune its selectivity and sensitivity towards specific analytes due to its ease of functionalization by different coding methods. Multi-channel data acquisition circuitry was needed alongside a function generator to make this device work. More specifically, a multi-channel data acquisition circuitry and machine learning-based data analysis, as well as two artificial intelligence models that include linear discriminant analysis and support vector machine were used. Accuracies of up to 99% could be obtained for the tested analytes. So what would be the primary technology risks facing this technology? The current technology, while highly accurate, still has potential for inaccuracy. This fact could improve with an even larger and more diverse sample size. When it comes to public health, the work to improve upon this, even if the technology is already reliable, is worth it. Another technology risk is a potential for shortness of breath if a sample is not correctly given the first time, and the need to repeat the breath measurement would be necessary in that case. Some people could get lightheaded as a result of this, so if the instructions were not clearly stated or read, this could be more of a possibility. We would aim to reduce this risk by providing detailed instructions and a recommended max number of breaths that should be given. In the case of this maximum being reached, the user would need to swap to another detection method if possible. We don't expect this to occur since the technology is robust and simple to use. However, this risk must be considered. Also, this is a new technology, thus the lifetime's effect on accuracy is still unclear, and the lifetime of the device in general is also unclear. Reliability studies have been implemented which showed promising long-lasting results. However, the full lifetime data will be collected over time. Currently, the sensor setup is recommended to be replaced every 5 years. However, with the affordability of the sensor, replacement of it every 2 years is also viable. While we have investigated the effects of the materials on human health and found no indication of negative effects, this aspect could be further investigated again because we would want this technology to help the population and not hinder it. What would the revenue potential for the industry be, and what is the growth rate? In today's market, worldwide sales of biosensors are worth about $25 billion. Blood glucose measurements for diabetes management takes up about 85% of this world market for biosensors, so roughly a market of about $21 billion for diabetes biosensors exists. The projection for growth is quite promising as it has gone up since its birth. Thus, pursuit of this avenue for business is not as risky as others are. Most of this revenue goes to traditional glucose monitors, and as we discussed earlier, most individuals would not want to continue to use this method forever. This technology provides an attractive alternative, which is why I believe it would be successful in taking over the diabetes management market and grow tremendously. So who would our competitors be and what technologies might overtake our technology? Blood glucose measurement for diabetes management being the largest contributor to biosensor market means there could be some competition with different inventors, even other electronic nose inventors. One Nebraska engineering team developed an electronic nose that could be used to identify volatile organic compounds present in either human skin or exhaled breath. It was a wireless, battery-free device and is composed of an array of conductive polymer filaments created with a two-layer system of multi-walled carbon nanotubes and 4 solution processable polymers. Another example of others looking into this technology is the work done by Qiuliang Li et al., who have worked on the development of the e-nose for diabetes testing. The device detects levels of acetone and other ketones, where 12 different chemical sensors along with a microprocessor are used. Training of the e-nose with a range of machine learning algorithms was done in this work. Overall, this device detects blood glucose levels to a certain degree, and future outlook for their technology would be to increase sample size to include more variety in individuals and thus the data. Our sample size of individuals has allowed us to have a dependable accuracy, and the low cost, portability, and ease of use helps put us above our competitors. It is not a surprise that there would be a variety of work completed on this topic, as the use of e-noses for disease detection is a promising and exciting field of research. Is there proprietary intellectual property in the form of patents? 3 patents related to our team of researchers are listed here. All 3 patents are relevant to our product. The first one is on volatile organic compound sensors and methods of making and using the same. This touches on the actual hardware of the biomedical sensor portion of the product. The second patent is about a device and method for determining a level or concentration of an analyte in a person's blood from one or more volatile analytes in the person's breath, which covers the working principles of the product we've created, which involves using volatile organic compound detection in a person's breath to make a determination on hypoglycemic conditions. The third patent is about volatile organic compound sensors and methods of making and using the same, which involves the incorporation of a biomedical sensor to analyze breath, so combining the first and second patents in a way. Other patents that have been made by outside parties include one that is about a condensate glucose analyzer. This involves development of a device for monitoring blood glucose of a living organism and its fluctuation using the exhaled breath of the organism. The device would include an exhalation collection reservoir, an expiratory condensate collection reservoir, sensors for detecting glucose, and a dilutability indicator upon contact with the breath condensate collected, and a processor. This device also aims to be non-invasive, portable, or both. While this working principle is similar, the created device would be made of different materials, and the breath analysis does not involve the use of a specific array of volatile organic components that we have identified. There's also a difference in the hardware between this device and ours, as we would not use a condensate collection reservoir. The other patent listed involves a system and method for monitoring health using exhaled breath. This patent focuses on systems and methods for monitoring endogenous compound concentration in blood by detecting markers such as odors upon exhalation by patient, where specific markers are the endogenous compound itself or results from endogenous compounds. Again, while similar in the sense that exhaled breath will be used for analysis, this technology does not involve the use of the volatile organic compound detection, thus it would not be of conflicting concern to our technology. So who would the end user be of this technology? The end users or consumers would ideally be patients directly dealing with type 1 diabetes issues. This device will be simple enough that the everyday individuals will be able to use it with minimal training or instruction. It will also be convenient and portable, which means that other large and expensive equipment won't be necessary. The device is meant to detect dangerous blood glucose levels at any given time, thus it will come in handy for it to be portable. Medical facilities such as hospitals and/or doctors' offices would also benefit from keeping these devices in-house. These devices could serve as a good alternative to traditional tests and could very much become the future standard for testing blood glucose. It could certainly be beneficial for pediatrics office, as the children may be more comfortable giving a breath sample than a blood sample from their pricked fingers. Finally, diabetes management companies and programs could also be a good third party that could use this product, which they could potentially sell as a part of a diabetes management package or program. As far as the FDA hurdles to bring the technology to market, the device will not be an implanted one, as it uses breath samples for analysis, which is the point of the non-invasiveness aspect of this technology. This device will likely have to be a Class 3 device, which is characterized by being life-supporting, life-sustaining, or important in preventing impairment of human health. It could potentially help a person prevent an emergency, which is why it would be classified as such. Pre-market approval would be needed, which includes scientific evidence that the possible benefits to health from the intended use of a device outweigh the possible risk, and also that the device will significantly help a large portion of the target population. Some examples of PMAs include digital mammography, minimally invasive and non-invasive glucose testing devices, implanted defibrillators, and implantable middle ear devices. We, however, already have confidence that this device would meet these requirements, especially knowing that this device does not have to be implanted and risk the life of the individual in an unnecessary way. And then what would we see as the principal risks to the business? One potential risk involving the technology itself could be the danger of a false reading. A false negative could put the life of the patient at risk, which could eventually lead to legal issues and product liability. We would also have this risk heightened if we didn't provide a clear set of instructions for use, since if this was not clearly documented, we would be found at fault. Our detection accuracy isn't 100%, so we would not guarantee that to the customer. However, we can set safeguards to help prevent these issues from occurring. For example, we would highly encourage the user to give 2 breath samples and not rely on just one. Another risk could be that since the technology is newer, as time develops, there could be more regulatory risk. There's no telling how the market will play out for sure, but this is one consideration that should be taken into account. That is why confidence in our product was not established until enough data was collected to support the findings. Solidifying confidence in the product before it hits the market is critical, and at this point we're comfortable for the current market. We would, however, continue to strive to increase our product's reliability no matter how reliable it has gotten. Finally, another important risk is that, like mentioned before, there are many interested inventors in the biochemical sensors field, and even more specifically in the diabetes detection realm. There is potential for competitors to create their own methods to surpass our own business success if we don't stay on top of our game. That's why we would continue to keep track of the success rate and why we would be attentive to the market at all times. We would definitely establish a method of rating customer satisfaction as our business progresses and take into consideration how they feel about the product's performance. So things like survey would definitely come in handy. And this would be the end of my presentation. These are my references. Thank you.